Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 7.
Surprise, surprise. We actually going to upload Love and Marriage Huntsville tonight. We need you to subscribe, like, share, comment. Blair, you ready to walk us through this?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So Nell is telling Tisha that she's doing a lot.
Yeah.
Stormi ends up walking off. She's not about to deal with this situation. Mm-hmm. So Nell and Tisha actually get to talk one-on-one. Tisha wants to be direct. Yeah. And Nell tells her, I did say you were acting aggressive and crazy, but she says, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said crazy, but definitely aggressive. And Tisha is telling her that she's not going to fake the funk anymore. It's no more nice Tisha. And she tells Nell to stand on what she said. So what she's upset about is that apparently Nell called her a mentor, or called herself a mentor when it came to her relationship with Tisha. Tisha thought that they were actually forming a friendship, and she would have preferred Nell to say that they were working on a friendship rather than kind of little girling her or sonning her, being like, that's my mentee.
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts about that?
I'm gonna wait till the whole scene is over.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna unload.
So Stormi and Courtney are talking to Marsau, and Stormi's trying to figure out where all this energy from Tisha is coming from.
Same.
And Marcel is trying to explain to her that, look, y'all went back and forth at the reunion. If y'all had that type of conversation, my wife's cussing you out, y'all aren't friends. But then here you are inviting us to an event. And Courtney tells them, like, look, if we're inviting you to an event, it's because we want you to be there.
Yeah.
And Stormi says, like, look, last time we saw each other, we were good. And honestly, this is like an olive branch. And Courtney tells Stormi, he has to back up his wife. So, I mean, what else is he really going to say? Well, Maurice chimes in to get Marsau to drop the conversation. It's Nell's birthday. We don't have to get into this right now. So he leaves it alone. Nell is done with her conversation with Tisha. So she's dancing on the table, thanking everybody for coming and grinding on her husband, enjoying her night as she should.
Ladies first.
Pretty much. I think Tisha was just sauced up. Like, I'm just like, and even to Nell's point, like, Tisha was talking about being direct, and Nell was like, I made that comment months ago. Like, why are you bringing it up now? I mean, I think it was liquid courage or just liquid aggression, of things that have happened in the past that you probably tried to let go, but it really bothered you. So now you want to address it at her birthday party. It just seems like a lot. So I didn't enjoy seeing Tisha in this way. I don't mind if people, drink it, have a good time, but she was really ruining the event and souring the event for everybody. She was so worried about in the last episode of who's going to come in acting weird and who's going to have weird energy. Like, Tisha, you're the only one with the weird energy. Everybody was really there to celebrate and just enjoy each other. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I thought. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And then the olive branch comment. We can take it that way. Honestly, I feel like you just got to take sometimes you got to just take people by their word. Honestly, I feel like they invited them because this was a cast event. Yeah. And they wanted the whole cast there and make an effort to not have so many split up scenes. Yeah. So, but due to in the sake of not breaking the fourth wall. Yeah. Like, we're inviting everybody and we're all trying to be on the same page. So. Yeah.
I'm gonna use Marsau words from seasons ago, seasons ago, where he talked about Tisha's family, right? And he used a reference of other side of the tracks, right? Which Tisha let him know, like, that is not nice to say, because she always has some type of insecurity when it comes to basically how smart she is and just those type of things to make her feel equal to other people, right? And in this moment, throughout this whole series of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I always did not put Tisha, Kiki, Wanda. I did not put them all in the same box. I'm like, Wanda is just too much. Kiki is, drugs, whatever it is, allegedly. And I always thought Tisha was kind of like put together, like, the better of the two. Yeah. Tisha, you just like your family, bro. You just like them. And I don't understand the logic that you're using to basically come to this women's party, and you're so upset that someone's basically calling you a mentee, besides Stormi calling your man the B word.
Exactly. You got more hype over this than that. And what's the difference is you wasn't drinking when she called him the B word. So that's all we really have to go off of.
And she did it multiple times. Yeah. So, like, this whole idea that you basically saying, like, oh, you know what? I know what everybody is saying. No one likes Tisha. I don't think a lot of people are quoting on your niceness. I think they are quoting on your intellect now because they are not understanding where you're coming from. I don't think it's so much of people saying dumb Tisha. We ain't gonna go that far. We just saying, Tisha, help us understand.
Yeah.
Help us understand something about this scene, something that we can pinpoint and be like, Tisha, we get it. But throughout this whole time, you are too grown to not be direct. You are too grown to be acting like this. You are too grown, to Blair's point, to be this sauced up and then trying to use this to use this moment and not read the room and be like, should I bring this up at someone's birthday? Yeah. You're too grown for that. Because at the end of the day, if someone was to do that to you, you will understand that it's time and place for everything. So why don't you understand it? This whole idea to where basically she's talking to Nell and she's basically like, you know, well, this is my first time seeing you, so you thought this was the time and place for it. And even like Nell is trying to like see where she's coming from. You say, just now you just said like, I'm your mentor. She said, I was being sarcastic. I don't know what you're being, Tisha. I don't know what your point is. I don't know what your overall point is. And now at the end of it, now she's like, now I know whenever I have a problem with you, I come to you directly. And I think Nell is to the point where she's like, okay, girl.
Yeah.
Like basically like people gonna want to not mess with you. You get what I'm saying? Because they don't want that weird energy, as Blair was telling us that like Tisha didn't want. Like you're bringing that weird energy. Now, with the Stormi and Courtney thing, Marsau, you was defending your wife, right? Because even Stormi, who did call Marsau out his name numerous times, if you don't say nothing in the moment, I don't understand why you're being passive aggressive when I invited you to my party. So now I'm wrong for inviting you to my party? And Marsau's trying to do some Jedi mind trick of like, well, if you're not friends, why are you inviting someone to a party? And Courtney's like, maybe it's like an olive branch. Like, tell me where is the insult of inviting you to my party?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Maybe a conversation is needed, but not in the way Tisha was trying to go about it.
Right.
She's trying to be passive aggressive. And one thing I will say about Tisha, I know one's not going to talk about intellect and things like that on like the other side of the tracks in that way, but I will talk about your maturity. It was immature. And I'm like, you're too grown. As all these things you like to tell us, you are a wife, you are a mother, you are a business owner. And as someone who's a business owner, people don't invest in ideas, people invest in people. And I'm saying the characters that you portrayed on the show as a mother, as a wife, as a business owner, why would someone want to invest in that?
Right. And I have more to say, but maybe I'll save it till we get to
don't forget it
their
now.
Conversation. No, I think I'll remember it. Maybe not.
No. Say it now then. Say it now.
Okay. I mean, my only thing is that further along, they talk about how Tisha can be defensive. And I'm just thinking, like, honestly, Tisha, even though we have this commentary and these thoughts and didn't really enjoy seeing you in this light at the party, a lot of things can be cleaned up with an apology. You know, it's really not that deep. I mean, people aren't like holding you to the fire, like, look at how you acted and look at what you did. I mean, people act out of character. People get a little too soft. I mean, these things happen. So it's not the worst thing in the world. But an apology of being like, you know what? I was doing the most. I shouldn't have done that at that girl's party. Let me make sure I call her and apologize and let her know that, you know, I was out of line. Yeah. And, you know, any conversations I have with her, like, I'm not going to do it at your event. Like, that was just whack. You know what I'm saying? And I think that with Tisha being so defensive, like, she can't see that a lot of things can be resolved with the my bad. And then it's on to the next. It really isn't that deep, you know? Yeah. So anyway.
She always trying to justify.
And I feel like that makes things worse, puts you in a deeper hole, and then it makes us look like, what are you even thinking? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But you really could just be like, I'm sorry, y'all, I was tripping. So Chris, Courtney, and Martell, they go to play football. Martell is saying that Nell's over here picking sides when she said she wasn't going to in regards to choosing Mel to come to the party instead of Martell. Well, Chris said, you know, you guys keep doing stuff to each other and it's really hard for there not to be an issue with y'all both being in the same room. And Martell's like, well, we're in the same room a lot of the time and we don't have any problems.
Of course, because there's a judge right there and there's like two cops in the room at all times. So maybe like in a courtroom, yes, y'all there's no problems. I understand.
Right. And he asked asked, so how did the conversation go with you and Nell when Nell said she didn't want to invite me? So to me, it sounded like Martell wanted to hear that Chris had his back or supporting his boy. And Chris was like, I'm going to support my wife. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, I supported her decision. Like, that's it. That's all. And we enjoyed, we had a party. Courtney was like, yeah, we had a ball. We had a ball last night. You missed out. So Courtney has the gala coming up. He asked Martell if he's going to participate in it. Ken and Trish are participating. That was a question we had before. It's like, why aren't they going to invite Ken? But they did invite Ken to participate as a model. Yeah. So Courtney lets him know, look, everybody is invited. Yeah. Martell is hesitant on being there, not because of Mel, but just because his body isn't in the shape he would like it to be. Okay. And he thinks that working with Trish might help get his body together. Can I go first on this one? Yes. I remember a couple episodes ago, a lot of people was praising Courtney for saying that I don't really bang with Maurice. They're weird because of how he was acting towards Kimmy when it came down to her chemotherapy or recovering from her chemotherapy, getting over cancer and so forth. I see this as weird behavior too, Courtney. Like, you saying you only cool with basically Chris and Martell, and I don't understand how you cool with Martell. You get what I'm saying? I will say this, though. Martell thinks we're stupid, but we're not stupid. At least not all the way, right? He keep talking about, I don't know why she is upset, and he keeps referencing the interview. Yeah. But the interview came after he was arrested for what he did the crime for. So, like, people are not mad at the interview. Mel is not mad at the interview. She's mad at the initial crime that was against her, that got you arrested. Like you talking to the media, that doesn't mean anything, right? But you actually putting her, I don't want to say livelihood in danger, but for you assaulting her in that way is not cool, you know? So I don't understand why Martell don't understand the gravity of, like, I don't know why, because every time we in the room together, like, we always have a cool time whenever we in the room together. This was before you did what you did. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why the guys are confused on why they can't be in the room together. Because he committed a crime against his ex-wife. It's that plain and simple. It's like they're taking it so lackadaisical. Like, it's not like a serious issue. And that's not the only thing. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, like, I feel for Mel. But especially because you have a cast of people that you pretty much put together. And people are acting as if you're the crazy one. Yes. Or acting as if what Martell is doing isn't so bad. Or we're still going to hang out with him, we're still going to invite him to do stuff, and it's just like, he's awful. Like, why do you want to associate with somebody of this caliber? Yes. You know, but he's on the show, so I guess they said they'll work with him. And my thing is, I understand whenever a breakup happens, or like whenever divorce happens, there's always somebody that's saying y'all are doing things to each other. And that could be true. I'm not saying Mel is 100% innocent, but as far as I know, as of today, Mel have not committed a crime against Martell. And that's all that matters to me. I don't care about the hearsay. I don't care about the insults. I don't care about if she give him equal baby time, equal children time. She have not committed a crime the way that Martell committed a crime against her. Right. So, like, let's not try to make it seem like, oh, y'all just need to come together and get along. This is not that. Yeah. You know? And I think they need to start taking Martell's actions of aggression against Mel seriously. Like, this isn't a joking matter. Like, I think people underestimate what he could potentially do. Yes. Like, I think the man is unhinged. So anyway, so my thoughts, I feel like you spoke to my thoughts about everything that you said. The only thing I wanted to add was that the Martell and Trish getting his bodies together thing. I'm like, okay, we're getting a little love and hip hoppy right now. Okay, man. Like, it's feeling very scripted. Yeah. We need to get these two people in a room together and see how they interact, and this is what they're going to talk about. It's giving like forced production. Yeah. I don't know why Martell needs to have Trish train him when Martell works out and he was training Marsau like the previous season when Marsau was trying to get in shape. Yeah. So it's just like continuity. We're missing it. This part of it is just not clicking for me. It's not either. So Tisha and Marsau. Tisha finds it challenging to be a mom, wife, and a business owner. Stop right there. Okay. You realize that she say all these. She loves to list her hats. She loves to list her hats, right? A mom, a wife, a business owner. She made sure she put that business owner at the end of it. Remember, for the longest, and I'm not trying to downplay her role is important in every role, as a wife, as a mother, as a business owner. But for the longest, you was a housewife.
right? And you did not find your value in being a housewife. Apparently, after Mel introduced you to, hey, maybe you could come under me and you can do some speeches and things like that. Maybe you can, she's had a podcast since and all these things. Some would say, like, you're jealous in some way of Mel and you're trying to basically, like, outbranch like Mel did. I don't even care, right? My whole point is I think Tisha finds some type of pride of poking her chest out and saying, like, look at me, I'm doing it all. Right. But I don't really think your heart is in each of them as much as you try to, like, basically fake for us, in my opinion. That's why you having imposter syndrome, because you're like I feel like I'm failing in all of them. Do the thing that like you're really passionate about, besides doing things, in my opinion, that would get the praise from other people. That's how I feel about Tisha. Okay. Just in that one sentence alone.
Okay. And yeah, like you said, she wants to be great in all things. Sometimes she feels like she's lacking in one or all areas. I don't know. I kind of read this as basically a trying to connect with the audience kind of commentary about basically women having to work and do all these types of things, and just kind of seeming like, look, you guys, like, we're all going through these things. I'm a woman just like y'all, just trying to juggle and balance everything. So that's kind of how I took it.
When you say connect, or do you mean like in a pandering way, or do you mean like in a relatable way?
In a relatable way.
Okay.
Marsau is telling Tisha, just be the best Tisha, be the best person you can be, and then everything else you will be great in those roles. And Tisha said okay, but a comment that you made while we were watching it was like, she don't get it.
No.
And the reason why I agree with you in saying that she doesn't get it is because it's like she's trying. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel like she is definitely a mom and a wife and all the things that she says she is.
Congrats.
But it seems like there's something within her to where she's not fully realized herself. Like maybe she doesn't know herself fully. And maybe that's why it's difficult for her to show up in all these different spaces, because she's not comfortable in herself. And I could totally be reaching. She could be very confident, comfortable in herself and all these types of things. But it just seems like her interactions with people, and even like being able to take ownership or accountability for things, like, it's always a block there. And I just feel like if you know yourself, you know when you're doing good and you know when you're effing up, and you can admit to both. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, Marsau talks about Marsau talked about Maurice about the project, because she asked about that. And he's like, yeah, we talked about it. He didn't really give me many details right now, but the ball's in his court. Tisha doesn't want her and Kimmy's relationship to go back to where it was, of basically like going down the wrong road. And she brings up how Kimmy said that if they weren't family, they wouldn't be friends. And Marsau was just like, at the end of the day, if Kimmy wants us to do the project, it'll be done on time and on budget. He's just trying to make sure that they're on good terms with everybody.
What are your thoughts on her bringing up something personal when it came to business in this situation?
I think it's just Tisha just getting her wires crossed in a way. I'm just kind of like, you're asking about the project, but you're concerned about a personal relationship. And I can understand that, because Kimmy was concerned about being annoying and irritating. And maybe that having an effect on their relationship. So I can see the connection. But to me, it just sounds like Tisha hasn't let go of her past hurts. Yeah. And it sounds like it's like everything is like bubbling on the surface with her. And you never really know, like, if it's going to come out, when or how, because it was so long ago and you thought you moved past it. So yeah, Tisha just reads to me as just somebody who has a hard time letting things go. Yeah.
Like I said, people don't invest in ideas, they invest in people. So if I'm in business with someone and Kimmy says, hey, I don't want this to mess up our personal relationship, because business is business. Yeah. Meaning, like, I know you have the strip mall that you haven't finished, the office you haven't finished, Scott's Manor you haven't finished. I'm just letting you know, if you do get this contract, I'm going to be 100% business. Even though it sounds the same with Tisha, how she said it, she sounds like I'm going to be personal, though. Because I feel like with Kimmy, like, she said she wouldn't be my friend if we wasn't family. Okay, fine, right? Can you kind of, like, get that settled before or if we get the contract? How about you go get in the car now, go to your sister-in-law house and say, you know what, it really does kind of, like, bother me that you say you wouldn't be my friend if we wasn't family. And Kimmy said it at the reunion because she said, I'm not friends with people like you. I'm not friends with people who have your energy and things like that. So if you really want things to be smoothly, Tisha, why don't you be assertive and say, what can I do as a business owner, as she is, to make sure that I don't feel what I already kind of feel passively?
But see, even when they sat down and had the conversation with them over dinner or whatever, and like Tisha still took the defensive role of basically like, you're going to bid for the job, but I mean, do you even want to work with them? And I'm just like, yes, that's why we're here and we're talking. Like, why are you making a tit for tat power struggle type of thing? We're talking about work right now.
Insecurity.
And that's the thing with like Tisha, where it's just like she's got these insecurities and these issues like right underneath the surface, and it's just like it's oozing out of her.
Yeah.
So.
And unfortunately, this doesn't have to be true for Tisha, but I've seen it in business personally. People can say, hey, you know what, Blair, you are a great review person on YouTube. I love the way you recap and review, but that man you sit next to, his character, can't do it, don't want to work with you. So it's like it doesn't serve you to do the tit for tat when you're talking business, because people invest in people, not ideas. You can be a great builder, but if your character ain't right, people be like, I don't really want to deal with that. You know what I mean?
So they talk about how they've reached out to Mel's people to actually go the correct way to try to book Mel for their Black event as a speaker. But she said that she had prior engagement, so she couldn't do it. Mel does want to talk to Marsau eventually about the comments he made when Martell was arrested.
Facts.
And Marsau is just like, look, like their fighting impacts us. Like we're very linked close together because we're on the show together. So the news apparently reached out to Marsau because they were confused about who was involved in the situation. Everyone who says something about the Scotts to them ends up in a bad situation. He brings up Mel and Martell being in a divorce. I'm just like, that is like nasty work to like basically say, if you speak bad on my situation, you'll end up like Mel and Martell. I'm like, I think Mel is probably in the best place she's been like in a very long time, being separated from that guy. So anyway, and then he lists like all these other people. I'm just like, I don't like that.
Don't
that way of talking.
Don't fall for that witchcraft. That's witchcraft talking. Whenever somebody said God got us, God is not your personal hitman. You get what I'm saying? He's not going to be like, oh, they saying bad things about the Scotts, divorce. You know, it just don't work that way. Focus what's on your plate. Focus on finishing that strip mall. Focus on finishing Scott Manor. Stop worried about what people say. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, Tisha says that at Nell's party, they were talking about how she was having liquid courage. But Tisha just doesn't want people to play with her. She was like, this is me. Like, this was not the liquor. Martell tells her to not get down in the gutter with people, which he's told her multiple times. And he tells her that she just needs to work on accountability. She isn't really receptive to the conversation at first. So he's just like, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing.
I can't.
But then she asks about it. So why do you say accountability? And he says, because your default is defensive. Tisha feels upset that Marsau is always calling her out in front of people. It's embarrassing. You don't have to call me out on everything. And he's like, do you think these are the only mistakes that you make? Like, this is an opportunity for you to learn, and my ad lib, and do different. Okay, learn something and move differently. And Tisha, she's not hearing it. She starts tearing up a little bit, and he's like, you know what, we'll just sweep this under the rug and I guess talk about it in therapy. And then he heads out to go to his next job. Dude,
you know, the therapy that he don't like to go to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Dude, like, you have any more thoughts on this scene? I know you already shared a little bit about before on this.
Yeah, I think just accountability is such a huge piece. Like, when you're so defensive and not open to listening to people, I just feel like it puts you in a deeper hole and into deeper issues. Like, and I think I really don't know why it's so hard for Tisha to do that. Maybe she actually doesn't think she's wrong in these situations. But if you really don't think you're wrong, I don't know. It's just hard for me to fathom why not just listen to someone else's point of view and just see if it could be possibly logical. But it's like she just doesn't want to be in the wrong. But people are wrong sometimes. Including you.
Yeah, so. I think Tisha did herself a disservice by saying it wasn't the liquor. I would have been the first one saying, I drunk too much, baby.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So saying that this is you, red flag number one. Number two, I think this is the season where, and we go talk about it at the end of the show, Blair. This is the season where they are letting the comments, social media, YouTube, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, dictate how they act on the real show. All these things, like, you know what? No more nice Tisha. Who's like who are you referencing to?
Yeah, who put the battery in your back?
Exactly. Like, so like these people who you are calling millimeters, who's saying that they are stupid and all these things, but yet you letting them power you up. And letting them basically dictate how you move and how you act and how disrespectful you could be at somebody's party. And then you don't even take accountability for it. To where your husband, the one that knows you the best, is telling you this since season one, stop doing this. We are business owners. You are a mother. Your children will see this. And he's been saying this since season one. And now we are seasons later and you still like, what do you mean about I'm defensive? What do you mean about accountability? Just reference back to season one when I said it back then. He said it a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Marsau. Y'all may not like Marsau, but when it comes to how he want to be viewed in his family, he said, listen here, this thing lives forever. You are a mother. You are a Scot. You know, there's a way to be represented. And the way that you are representing yourself so far in this season, even last season with the reunion, talk about go pop some pills. What are you talking about? And even with this episode, you couldn't even reference that to say why you said that.
Yeah.
You just basically just talking for no reason. You get what I'm saying? And there has to be an accountability, not because you're a mother, not because you're a wife, not because you're a business owner, because you're an adult. Control yourself.
Yeah.
That's all Marsau's asking for.
Yeah.
As an adult, to control yourself. That's all.
Well, Stormi meets up with Mel.
Yeah.
She wants to check in on Mel just to see how she's feeling about the invitation, since apparently there's backlash when it comes to invitations in this group.
I'm charged up a little bit. I don't know why I'm charged up.
Well, Mel thanks Stormi for coming to the podcast.
Yeah.
Stormi says, you know, Sonny's energy was giving, you know, I got the man now. And she doesn't doubt that they're in love, but they could have probably just handled it a little bit more graceful and loving towards Destiny.
Yeah.
Mel asked Stormi, you know, why was Stormi and Tisha into it at the party? And Stormi's like, I wasn't into it with Tisha. Tisha was into it with herself. And Tisha, you know, basically is in love. So she thinks. So Stormi thinks. This is why she invited her to the Lovers and Friends event. Point blank, period. They think that she seemed hyper, but she was also taking jabs at Nell. And Stormi overall just thinks Tisha is coming across as childish. And she is. She really is. They talk about her gala coming up. Stormi noticed that Martell wasn't at Nell's party, so she wants to let Mel know that he is going to be at the gala as a model. And Mel was like, all right, well, if he's going to be there, she won't be there. And I think Mel was a little bit caught off guard, honestly, by her expression. And she was also said, like, if that's how you want to move, then that's how you can move. And I was just like, yeah, Mel is not feeling this cast. And honestly, I wouldn't either. Like, she's literally in a legal battle with this man. Like, and like, y'all do not take it serious. Like, he literally, what do you call it? Committed a crime against her. And y'all just don't care. Like, he's the greatest guy in the world. It's weird to see.
The way that it goes, for one, let me start off with the scene, first of all. Did y'all even resolve y'all issues?
Right.
Because Stormi and Mel, like, y'all have issues. Remember, you tried to contact Mel, you ain't got her number, Stormi, and things of that nature. Stormi mother was saying things about Mel and things of that nature. So that right there, the scene is already awkward and weird because y'all talking over the issue, y'all don't have no resolve. Number two, at one point, Mel said at the party a couple episodes ago, I'm not invited. Right? So that right there is number two. Number three, Martell is going to be there, and then not only did you invite her ex-husband, you invite her ex-husband to be rubbed on by other women. What the hell am I watching? Like I don't know what this is. It came off as if I don't even know what I'm about to say is right. Like at one point I'm watching it and I'm thinking like maybe Stormi is trying to get back in Mel's good graces because like, you know, like I think everybody has some, well, let me not say everybody. I think Stormi has something inside of her that wants to impress Mel and want to be in Mel's good graces, right? Okay. But then the more I watched the scene, I was like, I really don't know what the hell I'm watching. Yeah. Right? I remember in the first episode of this season, she called Mel vindictive. So I don't even understand this whole idea of basically like having this conversation with Mel, basically telling her about this party that she was going to come to before she found out Martell was there, based on what the vibe I was getting throughout the season so far up to this point, that I thought y'all picked a side. I thought y'all picked Martell's side. So like you talking to Mel and basically saying that your ex-husband gonna be there, by the way, and Mel went, well, okay, cool, I won't be there.
Yeah,
I don't understand why they don't see the whole idea of they will not be in the same room outside of a courtroom. Mm-hmm. I'm lost here. I'm very am.
Yeah, I think my thing with this scene, of course, like you said, it just came across very inauthentic. Yeah, because Stormi and Mel, as far as we know, aren't necessarily on great terms. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're probably cordial, and it comes across as cordial, mm-hmm. as co-workers. Mm-hmm. And why I'm just like, y'all sitting down to come together. And Mel, the way she was coming across, like she was talking to her homegirl, and she was saying, so do you think Sonny was wrong? And what was going on with you, girl, and Tisha, and all this type of stuff. Though. Yeah, and it felt fake. And I think that's where Mel does herself a disservice. Yes. Is when you're over here, you know, cutting yourself off from people after filming is wrapped, mm-hmm. and then you no longer have these real relationships with these people to carry you on to the next season. So when you're coming on to the next season, everything is forced because you don't actually talk to these people. You just literally brought your own friend group to like the show last like couple episodes ago. Yeah, and Stormi wasn't in that group, right? So keep preaching, Pastor. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's just that I know Mel probably needs a break, but I'm just saying you introduced Stormi as somebody that you were cool with, getting to know with, forming mm-hmm. a friendship with. She was walking you around her warehouse and showing you how she has built her business, mm-hmm. and I thought that you guys were kind of on the same level as far as business-minded, professional women, you know, building a friendship and, you know, having family and kids and all this type of stuff. Yeah. And I thought that was really nice to see. Mm-hmm. But because you want to act funny sometimes, mm-hmm. or maybe you need time to yourself, and that's fine, but you can communicate that with people. And that way, when you see them again, the connection is still genuine and good. And I know the situation with Stormi and Mel like happened a season or so ago, when, you know, they actually like weren't clicking based off of Mel changing her number and mm-hmm. stuff like that. But it just does not feel right jumping into a new season, and now we out to dinner and Mel talking about ooh girl, and I'm just like Mel, like you don't have any genuine relationships on the show. Like it just feels really fake. Yeah. And I don't know what else to say other than Mel, it might be time to move on, honestly. Like if you from can't the show? Yeah, like if you really can't have genuine connections with these people, like maybe just take a full like producer position. I don't know, it just doesn't come across good. But at the same time, a lot of this cast ain't holding their weight. No, they're not. They're not. Don't worry about it, Carla. So maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my neck, because I'm just like, I do appreciate Mel's scenes, but I think across the board, like the cast is fractured. It's just very fractured right now. Carlos, I will address you at the end of the show. Okay, let's keep going. So Tricia and Martell work out. Yeah. Tricia knew Marsau because he worked with her ex and her sister. Mm-hmm. Martell brings up the women and the parties at the building that he had brought up some seasons ago that mm-hmm. Marsau was having. Mm-hmm. Martell tells her, you know, to do good at this event. She's a little bit nervous because she doesn't necessarily want to give sex appeal, and mm-hmm. she doesn't want men rubbing up all on her body. Mm-hmm. Martell says that Chris almost introduced him and Trish to each other. Yeah. But he doesn't want to reveal what the conversation was about. Mm-hmm. And Trish says that Mel was grilling her at the party. Martell told her to grill her back. They touch on Chris and Nell and their side chick situation from 30 years ago. Yeah. Martell asks if Ken is a side dude. Trisha hates explaining it. And basically, she and her husband separated a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Martell says that Mel said that they were separated when Mel was doing her thing. I'm just like, Martell, you're always going to bring this up, aren't you? Of course he is. How many years divorced do y'all have to be for you to stop bringing this up? It doesn't matter to him. And then he tells her, like, pretty much, you know, you guys have been together for like 2 years. Y'all need to like hop on this paperwork. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, honestly, what does paperwork even mean? Like, it's just a document. Okay. You go first, because they're making my head hurt. Is the scene over? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Trisha said Ken saved her because she was raging on the inside. Mm-hmm. And she brings up how when Trisha saw Martell, he acted like he didn't know her, and he was just saying, you just look different. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. One thing I would say, this felt like a Charlie Brown show where it was just just two times. I don't understand this whole
Martell can say a sentence or two without laughing in the middle. I don't believe nothing about any conversation he had with Chris Fletcher about Trisha. I don't. Even just the little pokes at talking about like the little parties that Marsau used to have, and that's when he said something about across the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, of you would have been one of the ones of like Marsau, and then she was like, is he joking? Because that's not cool. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't understand this conversation that was shown on my TV. I will say this, the most she talked to a guy, and this is including her own man, Ken. But this whole tennis match of volleying conversation back to each other about nothing. Yeah. It was weird.
It was a non-conversation.
It was awkward. I don't know what they was talking about. At the end, she said it's just a document. That kind of puts me in a position to, you don't really take what your man currently Ken wants out of this. You think it's just a document. What to him is not just a document.
Right, because that document is stopping you guys from doing what he wants to do with you.
Exactly.
In your relationship.
So that just shows me how you feel about how he feels about you. You know? I don't understand them. I just want to move on from this scene because it was really a pointless scene in my opinion.
Let's move on. Mel meets with Marsau.
Okay.
And she asked him about how the second expo went. And he says it went well. She congratulates them. And she talks about, did you guys have sponsorships? So they did have sponsorships. And they also had multiple keynote speakers. Okay. Mel was feeling when they had the town hall meeting that they weren't really receptive to the feedback she was giving. But she's glad that they ended up taking her advice. Okay. And I was thinking to myself, well, the only person who really wasn't receptive was Tisha. And that is a problem that Tisha has.
What I told
you. Defensive.
What I told you.
Because honestly, Marsau, if we think back to the town hall meeting, he was taking notes on what people were saying. Yes, the room was a little bit heated, but he wasn't allowing that to get him too riled up. And Tisha, I'm tired of talking Tisha, honestly. Okay. So moving on. My only thing to Tisha was pretty much just like, a recommendation or critique is not an attack on you as a person. And I think that's how Tisha receives it. Yeah. And it is just like crazy making to see it in action because it's only to make you better. And she just does not realize that even when her husband is talking to her about ways she can improve, it's only to make her better. And she just refuses to acknowledge it. And I wish she could be I wish that she could be a little bit more like forthcoming and honest and clear in her communication. But it's some type of block there. It really is. So Marsau made a statement to the media involving Mel and Martell, and Mel asked him why did he feel the need to make the statement. Marsau says that us being in close proximity, people thought it was me who was being arrested. The news reached out to me, and I had to clear it up with them. And in those situations, I just say I'm praying for all parties involved. Well, Mel tells him, look, it's fine to deny something that's not true, but you could have not responded when people reach out to you for statements. And she said, people have reached out to me regarding your lawsuits, your situations, and I didn't say anything.
That's true.
Then Marsau says it was a personal friend who reached out to him. And Marsau ends up showing the text. And in the text, he did write free Martell. He doesn't know what happened, but free Martell.
Interesting.
And Mel says, so you don't know what happened, but you're talking about free Martell, free Tisha.
Is that the end? Can I go over this scene slowly?
Sure.
I want to go back to when he was having that conversation with Tisha in their house, and they rent a house, whatever house it is. And he keeps saying, whenever something happens, we are connected to basically Mel and things like that. Basically, like, And I'm like, I think you think too highly of yourself, right? And he's trying to use the excuse of MAR, Martell. He said at first people didn't know who was arrested. People were thinking I was arrested. Well, that would have corrected itself, right? But I find it very interesting that he keeps saying whenever something happens between Mel and Martell, they need to understand that the cast is affected by it completely. Well, here's the thing about it. I didn't see Kimmy put out a statement. I didn't see Maurice put out a statement. I didn't see the Fletchers put out a statement. Even when Kiki was on, I didn't see Kiki say anything about it. So I don't understand why he feels emboldened enough to basically talk to the local media, where in reality, I do not remember. And if it did happen, it definitely slipped through the crack of anybody getting confused that Marsau got arrested over Martell. And if that was the case, Mel said all the right. She literally said everything that I said while she was saying it. That would have corrected itself. Even if you wanted to say something across the lines of, hey, I know things are coming out saying Marsau got arrested, but Marsau is home with his family. It was not me. Yeah. That would have cleared yourself. But once you start feeling emboldened enough to where you're like, well, whenever something happened about y'all, that kind of affects us, so I need to talk about it. I'm like, I think you're patting yourself too much on the back and like you're going to hurt yourself. Because I don't see how this even correlate to you even having to say something about their relationship at all. Like, I really don't. And then for you to personally write Free Martell, Mel, we like to say a lot of things in the sense of Mel does this, Mel does that. Mel has 100%, she has the 100% right to feel what she feels in this scene. And I think the problem with this scene, as we see a preview of next episode, the problem with this season is they let us, meaning the people on the outside of the show, dictate how they move on the show. They keep talking about, you got your millimeters. This is the most I ever heard the millimeters on a show. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? You got the millimeters, you got the blogs, you got the YouTubers and all that stuff, and they saying all these things. You got the people on Twitter saying this. And I'm like, yo, y'all are shooting a show here. Why are y'all letting me, with my 200, I'm lying, with my 60 followers, you get what I'm saying? Dictate how you move on the show. Yeah. Martell, the reality is you shouldn't have said anything because it was none of your business. And many times than not, you find yourself inserting yourself in the business when you really did not have to, sir. True. What is your thoughts on this scene?
My thoughts on the scene,
take your time.
I think Marsau, it's funny, as much as he talks to Tisha about accountability, he kind of finds ways to evade accountability himself by explanations.
Justification.
By explanations and justifications. So although he doesn't get defensive in the same way that Tisha does, where it's like completely like, like you're digging a hole. Like Marsau likes to twist and turn the situation to where if I put it this way, then maybe I can change their perspective so they won't think it looks as bad as what I did. And it's just like, well, once we saw the text message, all that went out the drain.
It went out completely out.
Went down the drain. So, as much as Marsau talks, I mean, he could have definitely handled this conversation better. The conversation is still ongoing, so we'll see how he actually handles it. But yeah, he did not need to say Free Martell. I get that he was talking and texting a friend, but the friend is also like a news outlet or reporter. So your commentary is going to be used, and I can't allow him to feign ignorance on that. 100%. I just can't. Like and my thing is like Marsau, I think he's funny, and I think he probably thought that was a funny thing to say. But again, it just goes back to people not taking the violence and aggression against Mel seriously. Yep. And it's just like, what is it going to take? Like, I don't want anything terrible to happen to Mel or anything like that. But it's just like, it seems like y'all want to have some type of physical situation to where you can actually say, oh, he did this and I see the black eye and now I'm taking a stance on the side of right.
He went too far now.
Exactly. But it's just like, you see his patterns and everything he's doing to psychologically just crush this lady. Yeah. And y'all are just not, like, y'all just don't, like, it's not a real thing. Yeah. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, I really don't understand it. Mel even brought up good things, because don't get it twisted, there is lawsuits against Marsau's company. And she said when they talked about your marriage, because he made it seem like, which that's why I say it comes off as he felt emboldened. Like he made it seem like, listen, Mel, whenever something happens to you, we get asked questions because we're all on the same show. Well, the same thing can be said for you.
Exactly. Mel's like, same for me, but I don't say anything. Exactly. And you don't have to either.
So it's like the whole thing of when they thought that y'all was gonna divorce Tisha and Marsau, Mel did not come out and say anything. At least we ain't hear anything publicly. When you get these lawsuits and things of that nature, like, everybody is accountable. Be accountable for yourself. Let's start with that. Right. You do not have to feel the need to be like, you know what, man, this happened with Mel and Martell. It now affects me. It don't have to. And this whole excuse of MAR, stop it. Because you could easily correct if you've been arrested or not. Yeah. Period. Anything else that you want to share on the show before I go on a tangent for 90 seconds on Carlos King?
Oh, okay. No, that's all I got. Let's hear the tangent.
Mr. Carlos King, I hate to do this to you, especially during this month. I hate to say this, but one of my favorite shows is Love and Marriage Huntsville, but it is almost near the bottom of the toilet bowl. I told you a couple episodes ago it was circling around, and now it's about to go. It's about to go in the drain. This is giving Love and Marriage DC last season, this past season. The cast is divided, and it's evident. I've never seen so many independent scenes in my life. The first time that they came together was at Nell's party, and then they're not together no more. Like, it's too many. I understand the whole template of everybody got a storyline, you gotta let it build and let it build. But Blair says something which was profound. She said even the Martell and Trisha thing, it just don't feel authentic. It feels like you're following like this love and hip hop thing. It just does. It feels below the mark that you set for this show.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I would say that if there is a divide so big on this cast, we need to figure out what the divide is and get back to the origins and the feelings and the storylines, the good ones of this show.
And sorry to jump in.
Okay.
And it's not enough just to have people film together. It feels forced.
Yes.
It is definitely forced.
Yes.
So people's actual feelings about each other needs to change.
Yes.
Sorry.
And my thing is, it had, and I don't know what it is. Maybe you need a new cast. Listen here. This is a lot of seasons. What season is this? This season 6. This, I think it's bigger than 6. Is it? Well, whatever season it is.
I got a lot of notes.
Yeah. We got a lot of notes. What season it is?
8.
It's season 8. We took away 2 of y'all seasons. Listen here. 8 seasons with the same OG cast. That's a. But we can't do 8 more seasons of this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Because this type of stuff is hard to watch. You get what I'm saying? Because we seen the mark that you set, and we are constantly seeing it in 7 episodes of you missing the mark. And I don't know if we should blame the boss more than the, because there's the boss and there's producers and things like that.
And then there's the cast.
It's like everybody's missing the mark. So like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to fix it. Usually people say, you know what, I'm not watching no more. I will never say that. You know what I mean? Because I like to complain about stuff. So I'm going to watch it. Anything else you would like to share?
That's it.
Listen here. Join us tomorrow for Love Island UK and Love Island USA. We will post those videos tomorrow when they air. Anything else you want to share? You good?
I'm good.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.